Hello, Dr. Sundstrom and classmates. This is Nicole Dalton, and this is my MPA 594 week number 4 multimedia discussion board. The two agencies that I've picked this week, one public, the Rancho Cucamonga Fire District's Fire Prevention Bureau, and one private agency, which is Bella's Wildfire and Forestry Corporation. And just for a little housekeeping, when I refer to the Rancho Cucamonga Fire District, in the presentation, it will either be Fire District or Prevention Bureau, but for the sake of the presentation, those two are the same thing. So with that, I'll get started. The Rancho Cucamonga Fire District's Fire Prevention Bureau and Bella Wildfire and Forestry Incorporation share a similar mission to support wildfire prevention, but their guiding force in why they do their job and how they administer their work outweighs their similarities. The three themes to support this thesis statement is ethics, guiding influences, and administration. The first theme is ethics, and in Paul Appleby's article, the biggest takeaway for me is that you have to have a heart for serving if you are going to be a public employee. And individuals who pursue a career in the fire service and want to become a member of the Prevention Bureau, yes, they need a paycheck and a salary to uphold their livelihood, but ultimately they pursued this career because they wanted to serve the public and protect them from fire threats in their community. And yes, it's likely that members of Bella want to do the same thing and protect individuals from fire threats, but they aren't going to provide these services for free. They only provide those services to those who can actually afford them. And using an example from our economics class, individuals who pay taxes can still benefit from the services provided by the Prevention Bureau. This is also known as the free rider problem. But with the services provided by Bella, the free rider problem is eliminated. The bottom line is the Prevention Bureau tries to educate the public at large, regardless of whether or not they pay taxes, so technically free of charge. Graham Allison also mentions this in his article about government entities needing to be equitable and efficient, whereas private companies don't have to worry about being equitable in the services that they provide. The next theme is guiding influences, and the biggest can be seen in Woodrow Wilson's dichotomy. So the fire district needs to ensure that the goals set by the politics side, which is the fire district's board, also the city council, that those goals are met. The city council is going to set those objectives for the fire district, and they need to achieve them, as opposed to Bella, who doesn't have that political influence guiding their goals for their company. Next is Dwight Waldo, who said you need to be socially aware of economics, political, and social events and how that can influence the future of the administration. He also suggests that you shouldn't do long-term planning. The government agency needs to be flexible. So on top of having to achieve the fire board's goal, the fire district needs to be aware of outside influences that it can affect the state of the district and the services that they're providing to the community. They may need to change their services or tactics as their environment around them changes. And if the political world changes around Bella, they're not required to adapt. They only need to adapt to change if they choose to. Lastly is Graham Allison, and the sharpest distinction between public and private management is the fundamental constitutional difference. This constitutional difference was seen in both examples provided in Wilson and Waldo's article. It could also be seen in the Pendleton Act. The fire district has to hire people who are actually qualified for the job, whereas Bella can hire a brother or a friend regardless of their qualifications. The last theme is administration. And in Luther Gulick's article, this is going to be one example where the fire district and Bella are actually similar. Whether you're a public or a private agency, both of them need to utilize POSCorp in order to operate efficiently. That includes planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. But when you dig deeper, the fundamentals of each of these aspects are going to differ greatly, and I'll use Max Weber's theory to explain that further. In the fire district, you're going to see elements of the bureaucracy: division of labor, managerial hierarchy, formal selection seen in the Pendleton Act, and formal rules and regulations that are set. Bella's a much smaller entity and doesn't need to function the same way a formal bureaucracy needs to function in order to operate efficiently. Lastly, Leonard White, This is the idea that the administration is the management of men and material in order to best serve the needs of the community that they're serving. And the fire district needs to manage their budget in the best interest of the taxpayers' dollars, because that's ultimately who their boss is the community that they're serving. Whereas Bella needs to generate enough revenue to pay, enough revenue to pay their employees and keep their businesses running, and they don't need to worry about the revenue that they're generating and how that's going to affect the community that they're actually serving. As you can see from this presentation, although the Rancho Cucamonga Fire District's Fire Prevention Bureau and Bella Wildfire and Forestry share similar missions, their guiding force in why they do their job and how they administer their work outweighs their similarities. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I look forward to any feedback that you may have for me. Thank you.